I was reading a New York Times article about a new Apple Plus series called The Studio, which was created by Seth Rogen and a bunch of other people, starring him as well. If you haven't seen it, it's really, really fun, especially if you have any kind of insider knowledge of entertainment. It's shockingly accurate and revealing. Uh, and before I make you wonder too much about, well, what does this have to do with eating whole food, plant based? I promise you, we're going to get to that. So, what the article is about how Hollywood has changed over the last 10, 20 years in terms of the content it makes. Um, more about blockbusters and intellectual property. So, pre-existing things like sequels and prequels and remakes and live action versions of a story we've already seen 10, 20, 30 times. And the writer of the article, who is a Hollywood person himself, says that the problem isn't necessarily the studios. The problem is the audience, you, me, the consumer, right? That the reason why the studios are making just the same old movie over and over again is because that's what we are asking them to make. In the TV show itself, there's a great sequence in the first episode where this new studio boss, played by Seth Rogen, is essentially told by his boss that he has to make a KoolAid movie. And he even tries to get Martin Scorsese to direct it. Anyway, the show is essentially about a studio executive who loves the movies that he grew up with, the movies of the 70s, of like people like Scorsese, uh, you know, all the great filmmakers. But what he ends up making is just stuff that the audience is demanding. And I don't think that's much different when you look at the food system, right? And the argument is that all these fast food companies and companies that make processed foods, you know, snacks and cookies and crackers and chips and all that kind of stuff, well, they're just making it because that's what we want. That's what we're asking them to make. Uh, and it's hard to argue against that because money, right? But it makes me think of it like this. It's as if we, the audience, the standard audience of cinema goers or people who consume food, junk, whatnot, uh, we're children, right? And we're just begging for candy all day long. Just give us the stuff that we think we need that is comforting and mindless, and just give us that over and over again. And the food industry, or you know Hollywood, who should be the adults and the parents who know what's good for us, and I'm not saying they always do, they're just giving us the crap that we want because it's easier that way, when really what we need them to do is be braver and bolder and, I don't know, just stand up to what it is that we should really be getting, which is a higher quality diet, both intellectually and for our bodies. But therein lies the problem, right? Because there are companies out there and places out there that do try to do that. But what happens is that then you get all the other people who are just like, well, if that's not what people are actually asking for, and that's not what's going to make money, well, why would I create and provide those things? I'd love to know what you think about all of this in the comments down below, because I do not have an answer for this problem. And it makes me just nervous for the future, because it just feels like companies and conglomerates, whether it's in the food industry or in Hollywood, it's just a race to the bottom where they're just letting us poison ourselves, even though they know it's not good for us, because that's, the excuse is, well, that's what they want. And so why wouldn't I give it to them? Anyway, I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because in my own small part, I'm trying to make content that is helpful to people who helps them improve their lives, and trying to make it entertaining and thoughtful, but not hard to digest and feel like homework either. And I think that's, I'm not trying to say what we make here is the solution to the world's problems, but I just think we need more of that in all aspects of our lives. We need people to realize that the audience needs to be entertained, and you can give them what they really need at the same time as giving them what they want if you're just a bit more thoughtful about it. You know, you look at, for example, a movie like the Barbie movie that came out last summer, the summer before. That was a great example of taking a big giant brand, but packaging it with a filmmaker in Greta Gerwig who can tell a really compelling story that touches on issues that we need to think about and talk about.
Do you guys ever think about dying?
And we just need more of that in the world when it comes to our entertainment and then our diet as well. Anyway, sound out down below. Let me know what you think about this. Again, I don't have all the solutions here. I just couldn't stop thinking about this and how it related to the food system and whatnot. And I thought I would pass it along because I love to know what you're thinking down in the comments below. So hit me up. This is just another backyard rant with Jeremy. I will try to do more of these out in public parks. It's awkward to talk when people are watching you in the park. So I got to try to find places and times when it's a bit quieter. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this semi-regular rant from me and the different topics I'm discussing. If you enjoy these videos, hit that like button, and so YouTube knows to share with other people. Subscribe if you want more stuff like this, and YouTube's got another one all lined up for you right here. I'll try to get my head out of the way so it can show it. It might be another rant like this. It might be another one of our regular videos. Anyway, hope you enjoy it.